Rejuvenate, procrastinate, mingle, neglect この4つの英語の動詞を聞いたことがありますか？すごくややこしそうなものが入っていると思いますか？ Rejuvenate, procrastinate でも実際の会話でよく使われていますそういう役に立つ動詞しか選べないですからね。でもよく考えてみると、このシリーズで今まで40個の動詞を紹介してきましたね。結構な量ですよね正直に言うと半分ぐらい覚えればすごくいいことだと思います40個覚えるのは無理ですよね。大変ですよね、普通の人間は個人的にピンとくる動詞をしっかり学んで今度の会話で使ってみましょう。自分の頭の中でイメージを作るのはすごく大事なことだと感じています。例えば最近うちの英会話ですのでね、on the ball という英語表現を紹介しまして、すごく生徒さんの反応がとても良かったです。これなら覚えちゃうかもしれないというふうに言ってました。なぜかと言いますと、イメージと一緒にフレーズを学ぶことという方法ですね。このボールを使って人がその上に立っているような、状態を作って覚えやすいなとみんな言ってましたね。on the ball。 ちなみに on the ball の意味は有能な、敏腕とか、仕事ができる人とか、すごく頭がいい人とか on the ball という意味ですね。動詞の話とは関係ないですけどねその動詞の話に戻りましょうか。I've been neglecting the main topic of the video, so let's get started with the first verb. The first verb is rejuvenate. 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 Here's the meaning in Japanese. Rejuvenate comes from the Latin word juvenis, which means young. The prefix re means again or back. So rejuvenate literally means to make young again. The word juvenile comes directly from it, and it means a young person. We quite often see it used for young offenders in a juvenile detention center, sometimes called juvie. So the word rejuvenate means to make someone or something look or feel younger, fresher, or more lively. It can also mean to restore something to a former state or renew its vigor, strength, or looks. What can we rejuvenate? Rejuvenate your skin. Rejuvenate your mind and body. Rejuvenate a marriage. Rejuvenate a shopping center. Rejuvenate an area of a city. So it means you're adding freshness, making it come alive again. A good night's sleep can really rejuvenate your mind and body. You wake up feeling like a new person. This is so true, isn't it? So if you don't get enough sleep, you can feel, like a zombie or something. But if you have a really good sleep, you wake up and you feel rejuvenated, both in your spirit, but also like physically. Your face looks fresher, doesn't it? Rejuvenated. The company is trying to rejuvenate its brand with a fresh marketing campaign and slogan. So you get this all the time to try, like you get a really old brand, which maybe nobody was paying much attention to. A good example of this recently was Abercrombie and Fitch, the American clothing company. So they really rejuvenated their brand recently through using all kinds of techniques, and now they're becoming trendier than ever. They rejuvenated their brand. Here's a quote from Monty Don, one of my favorite TV gardeners and someone who I actually met in real life a few years back. Gardening is the best therapy in the world. You can feel so broken, but the garden, it rejuvenates your spirit. The second verb is procrastinate. 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 This is what it means in Japanese. This is a tricky one to pronounce, I must admit, even for some native speakers. We use this verb for people who are always putting things off. I'll do it later. There's still plenty of time. Stop procrastinating. It's usually for things that we don't really want to do. Finishing off a big report, cleaning the bathroom, studying for an exam, going to the dentist. It's funny how when we have things in our lives that we know that we really have to do, we always seem to find like a really good YouTube video or start organizing our sock drawer for no apparent reason. That's called procrastination. He tends to procrastinate when it comes to answering emails, especially the ones that look time-consuming to answer. Well, I guess we're all kind of guilty of this one. You know, you see that email in your inbox and it looks like one of those ones you're going to have to spend maybe 10 or 20 minutes. I must admit, I'm guilty of procrastinating over those kinds of emails. We shouldn't procrastinate on making reservations for our vacation to make sure we get the best deal. So if you procrastinate saying, I'll book my flight next week, I'll book the hotel next month, we still got lots of time, but sometimes you can lose out on the best deal. Procrastination is usually a good way to lose money. Let's have a real-life quote from Robert Collier, an American author and self-help writer who lived from 1885 to 1950. His book, The Secrets of the Ages, still inspires people today. If you procrastinate when faced with a big, difficult problem, break the problem into parts and handle one part at a time. After a long week at work, I decided I was going to go to the spa on Saturday, to rejuvenate myself. Yes, it was the best thing I've done in ages. How do I look? Does my skin look rejuvenated? Do I look a wee bit younger? And also, I've been meaning to go to the gym. But you know what it's like? You go to work and you come back home, you're dead beat, you want to have something to eat and put your feet up. But I've decided no more procrastinating. Yes, tomorrow I'm going to wake up at 6 o'clock and go to the gym for a good old workout. Yes. Well, I better go to the shops now. I'm going to buy some new workout gear. Toodles! The third verb is mingle. 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 What does it mean in Japanese? This is quite an easy one to use. It's used most for talking about parties, to walk around the room talking to lots of different people. If you're the host of the party, it's really important to mingle and thank all your guests for coming. What kind of places do we mingle? At an office Christmas party, at a neighborhood barbecue, at a conference, at an exhibition in a gallery. The kind of places where you're expected to be sociable. Of course, at a lot of parties in Japan, you sit in one seat all evening. But in parties overseas, people love to walk around and have a good old mingle. Now, for mixing things together, like in recipes, I personally feel the more appropriate verbs would be mix, blend, or combine. So in most cases, mingle is just used for people going around talking. At the conference, experts from different fields mingled to share their expertise and opinions on recent developments. So this is a very important part of networking, mingling, especially if you go to like a big conference and you want to make some new contacts, make some nice new people. I I think you know what I mean. She loves to mingle with artists and musicians at gallery openings as she can chat with like-minded people. So if you imagine like a gallery and they have like an open night where they're introducing like a new exhibition or something and like all the VIPs come, there's a lot of mingling going on in those situations. You know, you get a glass of champagne, possibly a little canapé, and you're mingling with all the hobnobs. Let's have a quote from David Rockefeller, an American banker, philanthropist, and prominent member of the renowned Rockefeller family. I'm a passionate traveler, and from the time I was a child, travel formed me as much as my formal education. In order to appreciate cultures of another nation, one needs to go there, know the people, and mingle with the culture of that country. One way to do that, if one is lucky enough, is to buy things from those cultures. Next up, we've got neglect. 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 In Japanese, you'd say in recent years, neglect has become part of the Japanese language. I think it's probably used more in its noun form in Japanese. But how is it used in English? Well, it's often used for not taking good care of living things. Neglect children. Neglect animals. But it can also be used for things like these. Neglect a house. Neglect a car. Neglect an antique table. Neglect a garden. You just don't spend enough time looking after them and they fall into disrepair. We can also use it in an interesting way for things that we do. Neglect your English studies. Neglect a fitness routine. Neglect to update software. Neglect to check your email. They were accused of neglecting the needs of their employees during the restructuring. So there's a good example there. If you neglect the needs of somebody, then you don't care about them. In this case, we're neglecting the needs of the employees during a restructuring program. Maybe those people were having a bit of stress or they need some kind of counseling or some kind of advice, but they were neglected. You should never neglect your health. Regular exercise, balanced nutrition, and sleep are essential. So the word neglect and health often go hand in hand. They're like a set. So that's a good piece of advice though. Never ever neglect your health or you could live to regret it. Here's a quote from J.K. Rowling, the author of the Harry Potter series. And did you know J.K. stands for Joanne Kathleen? She used the pen name J.K. to appeal more to young male readers because she thought they wouldn't really want to read a book that was written by a woman. Indifference and neglect often do much more damage than outright dislike.
I've just been to my high school reunion party. Yes! Everyone's looking so old. And all we talked about was health. Some people have got bad backs, bad joints. Some people were even walking with a stick. But not me, no. But it's good to go to those kind of parties and mingle with all my old chums. I do like a good old mingle, you know, walking around, having a bit of a chat to everybody. Yes, it's good fun. Now, I think I have to be getting back home because my darling wife will think I'm neglecting her. And we can't have that now, can we? I think I'll buy her some donuts. Yes, she likes a good donut, does my little sweetie pie. Where's Mr. Donuts? Ah, over there. Mr. Donuts.
It's homework time. Okay, are you ready for a wee bit of homework? I hope so. Please make a sentence using the following words: skincare, rejuvenate, and tired looking. Oh, it's quite the combination, isn't it? Okay, so put your answers down in the comments below and try and make a sentence using those 3 words as best you can, and I'll check it as soon as I have some time. Okay? Good luck!